Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So I have not done a Division video in a long time, and that's because I said I wasn't going to. And today's video is not necessarily a Division video. In fact, today's video is about the Division, but in a different context. So let's talk real quick and then you guys will see exactly where I'm going. So as you guys know, the Division 2 has extended its life cycle to a point where the community is currently waiting on content. There are a lot of mixed reactions and mixed feelings right now, but that aside, I think what I'm seeing right now, and I need to go ahead and say this, is I think the Division 2, the way the developers have handled the game and not really satisfied its player base, has created a hole in the market, and this hole is actually about to be filled very soon by a series of other games. Now, this means that there are other gaming companies that are targeting you as a Division or even a Destiny player, because what they've seen, and I think this is, based on my own interpretation, is players who like games like Destiny usually drift towards playing games like the Division and the Division 2. Now, they're not going to all necessarily adopt the game, but I think it's known across the board that a lot of Destiny players will play the Division 2 at some point, and a lot of Division 2 players will play Destiny because they are MMO style RPG shooters, looter shooters for that matter. And so I've been looking and I've been seeing a lot of these video games since the Division 1 came out and Destiny 1 came out. They made such a big buzz in the community of gamers that a lot of other companies started to look towards making games like that. And so far we've seen some attempts to do some decent co-op shooter games that they've not really taken off as much as I think everybody would have expected, but they did really show that there's a lot of promise outside of the Ubisoft and Bungie ecosystem, where people are looking to try to tap that market of gamers that's already there. Because what's happened is this: Ubisoft and Bungie have created a taste that a lot of gamers didn't really know that they had. People like me, I came to the Division 1 as my first RPG looter shooter. I'd never played any of those before, and I stuck with the game for over 3 years because I like that kind of gameplay. So somebody who is just like me, who came into this industry or who came into this genre of gaming and has stuck with it, will most likely be looking for another game that will provide that loot-based grind that is actually rewarding. So a lot of companies, if you look at Remnant, very small game, had a loot-based system, a grind-based system. Even though its premise was different, it did have a co-op system that was a 3-player co-op system, and they tried to implement that. Now, Remnant did not really take off from the ground because its premise was just kind of a Dark Souls offshoot, but it still did appeal to a lot of the community, and they were able to get a player base from people who were already playing games similar to this. And that's just for a game like Remnant. Now, let me tell you a big AAA game that is definitely targeting players like us, and that is the Avengers game. Now, for the longest time, I didn't necessarily pay attention to the Avengers game because largely I'm a DC games fan, like all Batman games, anything that's in that ecosystem, even the fighting game Injustice and Injustice 2, even though I'm not really good at it, I still own them because I like to play the story modes for those. But then as I started to look closely at some of the materials that it actually released, and this is not stuff that's actually released out there in the open, they did some events and invited people over who got to play the game firsthand. What I started to see was this game looks so much like a Destiny game where you can go to a mission and that mission is going to provide you with rewards, and you can probably go back and keep grinding to get better rewards to equip your superhero. So they already have a list of about 3 or 4 heroes. They have Black Widow, Thor, Iron Man, and the Hulk, and potentially they can add more people to this universe. Oh, actually they have about 5. I forgot Captain America. And they add more superheroes that are appealing to other people. You can start to see this game grow and span towards a bigger project than we even thought. Now, many of you don't care about the Marvel heroes, that is certain, but there are most of our people who comment on this channel and other channels who are actually very interested in this game. In fact, I have friends that are already gearing up, building their gaming PCs, getting a console or whatever it is that they know that they'll need to play this game with a lot of people, because the game does have a lot of co-op elements to it. In fact, this screenshot that I have on the screen for you was taken from that event, and if you see, what it's saying is, you can play this mission, you can select the difficulty, you can also gain specific kinds of rewards as you're playing through this mission. To me, that just looks like a mission in the Division 2 where you get to select your difficulty and it shows you your reward in terms of XP, currency, or whatever. Now, there is a statement underneath the video that this particular screenshot came from that does say that this is in-game. This is a UI that's still under development, and so things might change. But if you look very closely, you're going to see some trends in regard to that. Now, another really cool thing was one of the heads of Crystal Dynamics, which is the studio that's actually in charge of this project, was asked about different things regarding the heroes. And he said something along the lines of every single hero can be customized differently depending on the player's preference. So he said something that relates to perhaps maybe you have like, one hero and he has the same hero. You can go ahead and spec your hero differently to be slightly different from mine, and they will play slightly differently in order to fit our play styles. To me, that says something like maybe you're playing Destiny and you have a class system already and a subclass system in Destiny, or the Division 2 where you can mix and match a whole bunch of other things, and then you have more in-depth mechanics. Now, the depth of the mechanics, I don't know how that's going to go, but I think they have ways of doing it, because if you look at some more footage, you're going to see that something like Iron Man has a bunch of suits that he can gain, also has different skill trees that he can level up and then equip at different times in different scenarios, also has different gear like, armor pieces that he can use like gauntlets and all that stuff. And to me, what that says is you're looking at a looter, not a shooter, but a looter game that does have that same format. The only thing is it's just been reskinned with superheroes that are on there. And so if you're a Division 2 player, if you're a Destiny player, I think there's going to be some value in actually just looking and checking out some more information about this game. Now, you may not be interested after you see more information. That is your prerogative, but don't miss out because, you kind of judge the game based on a lot of the information out there, or you're thinking that this is probably going to be one of those 25, 30-hour grinds that you're done with and then you have to shelve. No, I think this is something that the developers are gearing it towards being like a Destiny style game where they continue to add content and continue to expand. So for those of you who are out there who you think the Division 2 is, in a place where you feel disenfranchised or you feel like there's not enough to continue to serve you, well, I encourage you to go ahead and check out this particular game. There actually is another game, but it's an MMO shooter from a developer that doesn't necessarily have too much of a good reputation right now. I was going to cover it, but when I started to do my background research, I just saw that their last set of MMORPGs, the people who were playing them did not seem satisfied. So I didn't want to put that in front of you guys, because if gamers in one aspect were not necessarily satisfied, I don't think you guys would be satisfied anyways. But that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys this time and audience, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. Peace.